Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 18. Eric's returns. Welcome back, Eric's. It's been a crazy.
Hey, I'm back.
Been a crazy wild ride, huh?
It has indeed. It has indeed. I feel like I'm almost on the other side of it. Almost. I need a break.
To start again.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Briar could not make it today. He was busy tuning up his collection of Ferraris. That's what he's doing.
His rabbit patch, as he calls it.
The rabbit patch. Yes. Yeah,
that's Briar's garage, hidden garage. It says Briar's rabbit patch.
Tuning up the rabbit patch. You know, sometimes you got to make a quick pit stop. You know, yeah. Well,
yeah, obviously
we got some stuff to talk about. Right?
Yeah. That makes it sound really serious, guys.
We gotta have a talk.
We gotta have a talk.
We gotta have a talk.
There's a discussion to be had about some stuff. Let's kick it off.
It's very serious.
Borderlands, man. Borderlands is a super serious topic, right?
Borderlands happened.
Oh yes.
Super serious. You take it very serious. Everything that happens in the game and all that, right?
100%. Everything very, very serious.
Yes. Especially the constant yelling from status effects.
Yes. Oh my god.
Let's make them scream while they're under the effect of a status effect and make everything give a status effect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right?
It is brilliant. We actually there was one of those ones where when we were fighting like a boss, there's a grenade that we've been using called Stormfront that has the constant. It has like and obviously you throw that onto an enemy and it keeps these constant chains between them, and then they're just screaming for the entire time. And I'm just like, you're literally fighting a boss battle. When we fought, are we talking endgame stuff in this stream?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh.
You know what? How about this? Let's the first
No story.
Well, I mean, the end game is kind of story too. So yeah, I think we should give fair warning. There is going to be spoilers in this discussion about Borderlands, guys. So for about 30 minutes, we're probably going to be talking about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I won't speak about specifics, but it's fair to say that at some point in the game, you're obviously going to fight Troy and Tyreen. And when I was fighting Troy, the whole fight, he was screaming because we had the lightning grenade on him. It kind of ruined the fight because he's supposed to be this badass, and he's just like for the whole fight.
Same.
Yeah, I would say
hilarious.
that is like the one thing that actually bothers me in Borderlands. It's not just that. It's like when you're running, your character's running, it's just like,
yeah.
And it's like, in a game without a stamina bar, why are you telling me you're tired? It doesn't matter that you're tired. You're going to keep running the exact same speed because you're no stamina bar.
Yeah, that is funny. There's a few of those things that, the status effect screams are definitely like they're
very loud.
I'm playing Amara and an elemental build, so I am constantly causing elemental effects on everything.
Yes.
And they're getting electrocuted and burning and melting, and like it's
I'm melting.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, but you hear those screams constantly. You're like, maybe we can just turn those down a little bit.
Don't watch it around your parents because it straight up sounds like porn.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. So it came out last week to much anticipation, and
yes.
We should, let's see, maybe we should split this up in like story and then loot in gameplay and endgame if you guys have gotten to endgame stuff. Yeah. So let's talk story.
Yeah.
All right. I'm assuming everybody's beat it, right?
I haven't beaten the story,
No?
but I know the story. So
okay. All right.
You won't be spoiling me. But yeah, I had to Tomo was potentially making me sick, so I had to take
Jesus, Tomo. Unbelievable.
Unacceptable.
I know.
Eric, what do you think of the story?
I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of those things where, for me, like, I think I kind of sort of mentioned this on stream before. Like, I have never played Borderlands. I know there's obviously an interesting story there. I've never really played it for the story specifically. Like, I play this Borderlands for me falls into the same kind of category that things like Crackdown do, where I play them purely for fun factor.
Okay.
Right? They're just like crazy, like insane fun. However, I still got pulled to the story. I still really enjoyed it, and I feel like overall it was actually quite well paced because I think maybe it's because I recently went back to play Borderlands 2 I'm playing sort of like a lot through the stream. Like I played through it before, but I couldn't remember a lot of the stuff. And maybe it's because I was playing Borderlands 2 over the space of many different streams, so it felt more spread out. But I definitely felt like Borderlands 3's story was paced quite well. I didn't really feel like there were any particularly slow points where I was just sort of dragging my heels. Maybe it's also because I golden lined it, so I specifically avoided any side quests. So I just did mission after mission after mission back to back. So I actually had quite a nice cohesive experience. And yeah, it was definitely I enjoyed finding out about the first Vault Hunter stuff, and then of course going to the post campaign stuff as well. When it was like, hey, it's the end, psych, you got some more stuff to do, and I was like, oh, okay, now
that was a good debate.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I think it was quite cool just sort of seeing all the different characters that you recognize from like previous games sort of coming back in and having their like small hero moments, like only like little bits, but like, you know, you'll kind of go through and you'll meet them and you're like, oh, I remember you from number 1, and they'll have like their integral part for only for a little bit. So they didn't detract too much from you being the hero,
your
kind of
story,
thing, or you being like yeah, exactly. But it was still like enough to be like, oh yeah, they were really cool. So shout out to Maya.
Yeah.
Press F.
Yeah. Yes. Jesus.
Man.
Yeah.
I played a lot as Maya, so that was really depressing when that happened.
Yeah.
Again, there's spoilers in this, so if you guys haven't played this campaign at all, we're going to be talking about a few spoilers.
I heard a lot of people like, I had to take a break after that, just to like, I couldn't continue, you know, like being a badass, slaying all the stuff when that had just happened. I needed a bit of a break to just be like, all right,
yeah,
they did that.
It's
surprising.
It's partially because it's like you played all this time as that character in Borderlands 2. If you did play the grind weapons, so you had hundreds of hours, potentially thousands, and then they kill her, and you're like,
yeah,
you killed like hours of like what I did in Borderlands 2. You just did that, Gearbox. What the hell, you know? So there was a definite emotional response from that, and it was a bit telegraphed though. Like you could see that coming, and they also did a similar thing in Borderlands 2 with Roland, only it built up better, in my opinion. Like Borderlands 2.
Yeah, I see what you mean with that. It was kind of just like you could see it coming, but there wasn't like this big build up to it. It was just like, oh, here's this thing, and now she's gone.
Yeah.
I think the thing that kind of affected me more was the stuff that they did after, with like putting her up as part of their stream and putting up all the videos. I was like, damn, that's really gross.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Like,
that
pissed me. And like, genuinely, I was like, wow, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Surely that must be against terms of service, right?
Yeah. Can we get a ban on that, please? Yeah, you know, I guess in terms of pacing, I will say the story did pace well through my playthrough. I also didn't do a whole lot of side questing initially, because I would always look at my level and be like, if I'm 2 or 3 levels under, then I'd consider doing some side quests for XP, because the enemies were going to kick my ass. The delta scaling in Borderlands usually is like the biggest factor of stuff initially, until you're like on delta with the enemies, and then gear is a lot more important. So if you're like several levels under, you're gonna feel like you're getting wrecked all the time. Enemies are super bullet smudgy. So the pacing wise, yeah, I could see it did feel well paced, almost too well paced at times, to where like this Maya thing, comes, we meet Maya, we go to Athena's, you're like, oh cool, you know, one of my favorite characters. This is awesome. And then we meet Ava, and then we go do a few more things, and then we go and go back to Promethea, and she dies. And it's like, whoa, that was so quick. You were just on my ship, and now you're gone. What the hell? Yeah, I didn't like that, honestly.
Yeah.
I felt like it.
I wish they did more with like Athena's as well, because it was a really cool place. But I feel like it was probably one of the places that I spent the least time there, and there's not really much to do there. And it was really cool.
Yeah, and it's so cool looking. Like visually, it's a very unique Borderlands place. Yeah, I was disappointed about that, because like they took a lot of things from Borderlands 2 story. Like Handsome Jack is the best villain that they've ever created, and one of the best villains in video games in general, because you feel like you want to know him, but you don't, because he's obviously super evil. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Calypso twins if they were burnt at a stake, I'd be like, well, you had it coming, so whatever.
It was like, I don't want to know you guys. All right, I'll be okay with not knowing you, especially Tyreen. Tyreen is annoying.
She's like actual diarrhea.
Gross.
She's like the embodiment of diarrhea happening all the time. And like they did a great job of making the Calypso twins hateable because they're immediately hateable. You're like, oh, screw those guys. They're assholes. Why would I ever even associate with myself with them? And then they just keep on popping up. You're like, shut up. Get out of here. Jesus. I don't care about your propaganda. So, yeah. I felt like that fell flat. The Calypso twins were not a villain that I was like, oh, these guys, man. I can't wait to kill them again. Now I'm just like, these guys need to get out of here.
Well, I find that the best villains a lot of the time are the ones where they're not totally bad. Because if someone's just totally bad and they're an asshole, it's like there's not a whole lot of depth to them. But when you have those characters where it's like they do some good things, they do some bad things. Like a perfect example is Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. He is like, you don't know if you kind of like him a little bit, and maybe he's your friend, maybe you want to go on the side. Like, I like those villains where I kind of have that back and forth instead of just like, oh, look at this asshole, hate him, gonna murder him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's always like they tried. Go.
No, go for it. Yeah. Finish your thought. Yeah.
No, I was there. It's always like they almost tried too hard to make sure that you dislike them, right? It's almost like they kind of they lent on that like really annoying kind of creator angle where they're like, we're gonna force down that they're doing these like live streams. They're gonna try and sort of make them irritating in that front. And it's just like, I get it. And like at first it was like, oh cool. When I saw one of the first clips, I was like, oh, they're doing a live stream. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny. But then suddenly when they start doing it all the time, and I'm just like, all right, I kind of got the idea.
Yeah.
Like, is that how deep they go?
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly right. But it's like, do you have any more depth to your evil plan, or is it just like, yo, I want to do a live stream, let's go?
I'm just trying to get internet famous with my evil.
Yeah, they were just like like fake. They were going for this fake fame type of thing, and it just their likability was very thin to begin with, and then it was like completely gone by the end of the game, where it was just like, I don't care about these villains at all at this point. I just want to see them die. Whereas like Jack, you sympathize quite a bit because you got backstory and reasons for some of the things they did. Also, the pre-sequel did quite a bit of that as well.
The pre-sequel, made people really kind of sympathize with him.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was there was like very little sympathizing that happened with the Calypso twins. Towards the end, you get to what the hell's the name of the planet? Something.
Necrotafeo.
Necrotafeo, there it is. You get to Necrotafeo. You meet Typhon Delon. Spoilers. Again, we've been saying the spoilers in this game.
Whoa.
Or you meet him and you get this story about his kids, but it's just like maybe 1% of you care. You're like, well, they are demon monsters, so yeah. Yeah,
especially the fact that there was that angle when it was like, when they were like, oh, hey, by the way, sorry, I killed your son. He's like, kind of had it coming. It's like
they totally threw
that was a bit weird because it's
that's your son.
Yeah, I think it's kind of if in real life, if your son ends up becoming this murderer, you have like this real internal struggle of I hate what they did, but I love them. So it would have been nice to kind of see that struggle within him of like, this was my fault. I had a part of these people becoming awful, but I still love them. I still care about them, and that's really sad.
Yeah,
but
it was also they could have like, they could have done like so much more as well. Because I mean, having that whole angle. Because before we sort of got to reveal at the end, like we were chatting sort of in our team, we were playing through. We're like, wait, is it going to turn out that like maybe they were Handsome Jack's kids? And then obviously when it turned out they were like Typhon's kids, it's like, okay, cool. But then it was like they could have done more with that. Like instead of them just being these sort of like shallow influencers that just want to have internet fame, like maybe they could have, if they lent more into the story of like how they were the children of the first Vault Hunter, and then like he kept them locked up, and then as a result that kind of made them want to rebel. I don't know, there could have been more to it to that. And then if they told more of that story throughout the campaign to the point where like, oh, they realized there was that connection, and that was their kind of motive to then go into the vaults, and then as a result of that they're also just trying to like broadcast what they're doing. that might have in itself just been a slightly more. It might have added more to their character,
more humanity,
but,
to where you'd actually
yeah,
care,
exactly right.
Because their dad,
Yeah.
Typhon, was like very likable. He's like a really likable
character.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this guy is great, and like, how could he have raised two monsters that wanted to destroy the universe, essentially?
Yep.
Yeah. So there was definitely some disconnect right there with how they handled the story. They peeked a little bit into the tension between Troy and Tyreen, and I felt like that was the most interesting part of their story, was that at any point they kind of felt like they were about to rip each other apart, you know? You know, Tyreen was like, I'm just putting up with you, and Troy was like, oh, I'm just the parasite type of thing. And like, they were getting to a point where we could have had some crazy, like, turn battle type of thing, but they didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they did that, because you can see fairly early on that Tyreen has this really, like, she doesn't like her brother.
Yeah.
And it seems like it keeps actually increasing, like her annoyance with him and wanting to get rid of him, and they were just a parasite. So it would have been actually really cool if they did lean into that and had them kind of going at it a bit.
That would have been awesome, right? It would have made some interesting, like, there would have been things you could identify with then. Be like, oh, there's some sibling rivalry, or like there's some animosity in the family type of thing. Like, I get that. Instead, they were just straight douche. You know? Just pure douchebags, and you're like, you're just a bad person.
Yeah, exactly right.
Right? Your dad was super cool and he was trying to protect you. You're just a bad person, man.
That sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, the one thing as well, the only one thing that kind of like struck me with them as well is, you know, they've been lined up to be these bad people for all this time, right? And then the final boss fight with Tyreen wasn't even the best boss fight.
Yeah.
To me, the tree dude that you fought in the previous vault. I forgot what it's called, like the big big demon like tree guy. Like he was final boss worthy.
Yeah, that guy
right?
was
And then
awesome.
even to the point where you had Troy's fight, which was like really cool, had really cool components to it. Then when you kind of sort of came to Tyreen's fight, I was like, you're supposed to be merging with this destroyer. And what you actually came out with is like this, I don't know, it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought this would be like world consuming, like the be all and end all vault. And it's like, oh, is that it?
Yeah, I can see that for sure. You know, I got to say, though, with all the boss fights, I was really surprised how interesting the boss fights were throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my big concerns going into Borderlands 3, was that, are we just going to have kind of the similar stuff that we've had in the past? And, like, they were able to take things that they did in Borderlands 2 and give you craziness in Borderlands 3, where every boss fight, to me, felt like it was like this arcade excitement of, you know, like, it's FPS Galaga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, constant like projectiles going around, and it was exciting and all that. And like, the bosses looked very, would you say anime bosses?
To a degree, yeah. There were definitely some anime bosses. No, that was cool. Yeah.
They I thought they did a great job on bosses in general. But I do see what you mean. Yeah, when you looked at the destroyer from Borderlands 2, this whole apocalyptic arena where the lava was rising and all that, and this one was more just a stage, like it was a fight stage, like you're playing Soul Calibur.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right though, the boss design was very, very cool. That was a couple of them did like really surprise me, especially that sort of like foresty looking one. I can't remember what he was, but I think he's one on Eden 6. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite bosses that I fought. So.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I like, definitely. So story-wise, coming off of Borderlands 2, I felt like they tried to take a ton of beats from Borderlands 2 to put it into this game, and it was a little too obvious in that respect. That being said, I still really enjoyed playing all the way through and finally killing those Calypso twerps, because I hated them at that point. I just wanted to see them die and be like, you're done. Get off the EchoCast.
I will say that even if there was some hit and miss story stuff where we're like, oh, it could have been a bit better, the voice acting throughout from everyone was really good.
Yes.
It was really solid.
Yep. Yeah, they
really solid voice acting.
Agreed. Yeah, they nailed that stuff. The side quests I have not done all the side
They're
quests.
so good.
I
couldn't help myself, Tefty. I had to. I was like, ooh. And some of them are really long. Some of them are super long and tell like a whole other story of this character. And it's really cool. Getting coffee. I had to go get coffee.
Oh, the coffee bot, yeah.
And the coffee bot is just like, yeah, like whatever.
Locally sourced, you got to bring your own cup. I love that.
It was really good. That one was really funny. I enjoyed that one.
There's so many like little side quests in Borderlands, and I feel like they're on par with the story every time. Like Chad from
some of them
Eden
are really
6.
cool, yeah.
I did the side quest with Chad on Eden 6 last night, and hilarious, man. Just hilarious.
Yeah, the side quests are really good. Highly recommend doing them because they're really funny. And all the little Easter eggs that are in the game. There's Easter eggs to all pop culture, different games, TV shows. There's kind of everything.
Yeah, there's a Borderlands Easter egg, couple of them, actually 3, I believe.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So there's Dinklebot. If you don't know, Dinklebot is in the game, which is great.
It's straight up Dinklebot, not even like Dinkle robot, just Dinklebot.
Dinklebot, yeah, he's a named enemy in there, which is great, and it's on the moon of Promethea. Yeah, Kessel.
It looks straight up like the moon too. Like not just like, there's only so much you can do with the moon. I don't just mean like the surface looks like the moon, but all the type of buildings that are there and the vehicles all look straight up like Destiny Moon. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's really great. There's so many pop culture references. It's awesome.
You got to kill what's it called? Well, there we go.
That one, yeah. That bit was great. That was a really good one.
That was fantastic. Yep.
So let's talk about.
And there was One Punch Man. It's great.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Oh,
there we
Rick
go.
And Morty, yeah.
Rick and Morty.
True.
It's like Wick and Morty or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's always like a play on names on there, which is great. And Dinklebot was already a play on names from the community.
It was, yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah. Let's talk about gunplay and loot.
Ooh.
What'd you guys think?
Gunplay's good. Gunplay's really good. Like I feel like I having gone straight from because prior to doing all these streams, I would have just probably gone into Borderlands 3 having like played Borderlands 2 years ago, but because I've been playing it so frequently and I literally went off the back of a Borderlands 2 stream into Borderlands 3, you really notice like just how much better it is. Like it feels so good. Like every single gun. I mean, in a game that has billions of guns, right? There's always that challenge of trying to make things feel unique. And obviously, you've got certain factions or certain brands and whatnot, and they'll feel similar to one another. But everything you pick up, even if it's just like another version of a Hyperion gun or another version of like a TDO weapon, it still feels cool and unique in its own way. Like they handle really well, they're exciting to use. And even when you get like you think about other loot based games, Division or Destiny or anything like that, and you get like a crappy gun and it feels pretty crappy,
right?
Whereas you even get a crappy gun in Borderlands, you're like, hey, this is still kind of cool. Like I'm running around with like a TDO gun, I'm like, it's definitely not the best. I'm going to replace it probably in about 10 minutes time. But while I'm throwing this is really cool. And like everything about the gunplay is like, and loot is super, super satisfying. I mean, like, Borderlands has always done loot well anyway, right? Like, you're always feeling like you're progressing every single time you're going through. You start off, obviously, you're getting your greens and your blues, and then you start to see your purples, and that's all exciting. And then I think it's the point where like I'm seeing legendaries all the time. Like I was farming today, and I'm getting like legendary drops like left, right, and center. But the interesting thing is, like someone in stream said today, they were like, "Oh, the fact that you see them so frequently, does that make legendaries feel less special?" I'm like, no, I've had hundreds now, and I'm like, every single time you see that gold pop, you're just like, a legendary.
What's it gonna be? What's the role?
Yep. Exactly.
Which legendary? What role? Is it anointed? Like all those things.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, the loot.
Yeah, the gunplay is great.
Yeah, go for it.
It's you feel like you can be really mobile, which is really nice in a Borderlands game because there's so much mayhem, right? And especially playing a Moe's grenade build, I want to be running around and jumping in the air and throwing nades and just like causing explosions everywhere. And the sandbox this time around really enables you to do that and feel like a badass just running and jumping everywhere. So that the movement is
it reminds me of Doom.
Like
late game stuff for sure, because there's so many explosions and everything's gibs. You know what I mean? Like I get a very Doom-esque feel about like the movement and like the type of combat.
Yeah, and all the guns feel good. It feels good to shoot the guns. Feels good to move around with the guns. I have no complaints at all about gunplay or movement. Feels good.
Yeah, feels fantastic. Same. Like I knew when I played it back in May that it was on a different level from the previous games, and just now going all the way through to level 50 and getting legendaries, I'm like, yeah, it is surprising how much loot is in the game and how much variety.
Yeah,
it's crazy, honestly. Like there's also 5 elements now, and explosive is not one of them. So that's a big change from the previous game. Is that actually previous games there was explosive was considered an element that would roll on guns. So you could either have incendiary or explosive if you wanted that fire type of thing going on. And now explosive can roll with all these elements. So you can have shock, incendiary, corrosive, radiation, and cryo. So 5 elements, and they all do awesome things and can affect at the same time, which is crazy. So you could freeze somebody and then do radiation, and they'll explode from the radiation because of it's great. Like the sandbox has felt tremendous and really, really fun.
Yep. It's nice just being able to do like all this crazy over the top stuff, and it just holds up so well. I mean, like, I know, you know, there've been some people on online that have been having some performance issues and stuff. Like I've been fortunate enough that I haven't had any of that. Like my experience has been pretty smooth all the way through. But like we're getting to the point now where we've got a balanced team. We've got like 2-6R team runs like an explosive Mo's build, so they're all grenades all the time. And he's got the Stormfront one, so like every battlefield is full of tons and tons of lightning. And then everyone else got like explosive weapons. It's got to the point where anytime we're fighting enemies, I literally can't see the enemies. I just shoot into a cloud of explosions until I see damage numbers, and I'm just like, you know what? That's great. I've got spread guns, so all my guns just fire in massive bursts. And I'm just like, this is the cloud. We've actually got to the point where we're having to use the ping system to mark an enemy just so I can see it in the cloud of explosions. That's how crazy it is.
Honestly, I'm kind of causing that issue for myself, which is.
But it's great, right? Because it's one of those things where it's like anything else, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. But you're like, this is ridiculous in such a great, fun way.
Fantastic way, right?
I'm like, this is not serious, but like the fact that there are literally a stupid amount of explosions, like it's hilarious, and especially when it gets to the point where we're fighting like a loot tink, like literally the smallest possible enemy. I'm like, I cannot see anything. This cloud is gone. Just like fire into the abyss, hope for the best. Yeah, he's dead. Cool. Next. It's great.
It's actually kind of nice why so using Mo's and you have auto bears, you can get out. If you have the homing rockets, you can still see the little tracking on enemies. So you can see exactly where they are because Iron Bear's tracking them.
That's hilarious.
Nice.
It's really funny. It's actually really awesome to use that build where you get out of the bear and just let it do its thing. And then you're just lobbing grenades.
Nice.
Because then the bear is also getting you your grenade back because it's doing explosions. And then, it's really cool.
Nice.
It is a nice. In fact, this actually kind of goes quite well into. I think I can't remember what game it was before. We've spoken about this a few times on the podcast. You know, like about how some games they try so hard to balance everything to the point where it makes things like sterile. Like this is again is like a prime example of just like they're not afraid to be like your build is batshit crazy, right? It's like it does some stupid stuff. You're like we went back to fight a boss today. We fought Katagara Jr. and literally we dropped in and bam, he's dead. Like we fired all of our guns and literally in a second, I have a clip of it. It's like bam, your life is gone. I'm like, I love that you can do that. I mean, obviously, you know, if you were doing that during the campaign, okay, fair enough. It takes the challenge out. But now that I'm back, the fact that I can genuinely be so stupidly powerful that I've been running with like a flak damage stacking build, and when I'm running solo, like, I see their health bar, it just goes. I'm like, this just feels great.
Yeah,
like I want more of that. So they're not afraid to let you be powerful.
It's great to like see the struggle as you climb and see what it's like to not be that powerful, and then get a piece of gear and suddenly it changes a build or gives you an option for a build where suddenly you're essentially a god in destroying the enemies, and that's super exciting in the game. Have you guys actually, Eric, have you tried Mayhem levels?
Yeah, we're doing some boss farming on Mayhem 3 today, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So Mayhem,
yeah.
I really like what they did with Mayhem. I think it's awesome. Like they, instead of doing OP levels to artificially inflate difficulty for enemies, they're giving you Mayhem levels where you can, it's like torment levels on Diablo.
Yeah,
where it increases health. Well, it's got random modifiers, but it increases health, cash, experience, and loot drops for all the enemies. And then also it has random modifiers that'll get applied. Sometimes it'll be like -50 pistol damage, but your assault rifle is like +50, and enemies will be like 50% more accurate, or those type of things. What do you think about the Mayhem levels?
I really like it. I think it's a really, really cool. I mean, as you said, like it's a more exciting system than just simply flat like these enemies are stronger, they have more health, they hit harder, which is I mean it's like a bog standard kind of typical difficulty increase. But having that, because it also like adds in so much. It means they can do so much with this, like move further down the line with all the modifiers and stuff. That they could introduce additional levels, they could change things, they could mix it up for like seasonal stuff. Who knows? Like there's so much stuff they could do with it, and having the flexibility as well to be able to like toggle it on and off whenever you want, instead of just being like I'm going to be in this thing and I'm stuck with whatever difficulty it is. Like, oh, you know what, I'm particularly good with this, I've got a good setup, let me just run some Mayhem 3 for a bit. We were doing that on the boss today, and like I killed him and he dropped 5 legendaries. I was like, what the hell? But then there was some other stuff we were doing, and we were like, okay, this is a little bit crazy. So we just dropped it back down to Mayhem 1. So I love that flexibility. But yeah, I think it's a really cool system. I haven't even started my True Vault Hunter mode playthrough yet.
Oh, really?
I'm still like, because we got to 50 in normal mode because I was going around like doing the videos and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to go into TVHM just yet in case I can't go back, because I couldn't remember if I could or not. So we did everything in there. So we've just been doing like Mayhem mode in that one, but I need to go back and loop back around and redo it soon.
Nice.
But yeah, I like it. I think it's a good system.
There's a lot of new people come to Borderlands, especially from Destiny. And I have heard people not really understand what Mayhem is, or what True Vault Hunter mode is, or what your kind of goal is for endgame. Like, what are you getting all this loot for? What are you getting powerful for? Could you guys delve into all of that stuff a little bit for people hearing those things for the first time and they're like, what?
Eric, so you want to talk about Proving Grounds? Because I haven't actually done the Proving Grounds yet.
Okay, yeah. So Proving Grounds are, in fact, it actually kind of works perfectly for anyone that like is familiar with Destiny. You could probably compare Proving Grounds to a strike, because they're basically they've got a timer. They're like a 30-minute long arena, or not an arena, like a dungeon to a degree, except they're outside. But an outside dungeon, and you go through these different rooms, and in each of the rooms you've got like a wave of enemies. So there's kind of like a horde component to it. You kind of drop in and you just like kill these waves of enemies, and then the door opens up. You go to the next room. You fight them in there. Occasionally, as you're going through, there might be like a specific mob you need to kill, and then you get to the end, and there is a boss battle. Now, throughout the whole thing, you will have challenges on the side of it. So it might be like you've got a 30-minute timer. So the challenges are typically complete it with 25 minutes left on the clock. So, a 5-minute run. Complete it with 20 minutes left on the clock. Complete it without dying. And then if there's a special mob, like a named mob in it, so it's called like a Fallen Guardian. Like if you kill the Fallen Guardian, you tick all of those off. And then you get to the end of it, and you then have, once you kill the boss, you have a chest at the end. And that's where you can get some of your like anointed loot and some of the other good loot. So there's the nice thing about it is like, on the base level, it's just, you run through it and it kind of functions kind of like a strike. But for those people that like really like Borderlands endgame, that really like to min-max their build, that like doing that kind of speedrunning stuff, then there's that additional layer to it where you can really, really perfect those Proving Ground runs, because then you can start speedrunning them, blitzing those runs, doing those like sub 5-minute runs, so you can then get the best possible loot.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them in total. So when you complete the campaign, you basically just have to wander around the maps, and there's like a few little quest markers that you interact with, and it unlocks the Proving Grounds, and you then fly to these different locations. So they're all kind of like, they're typically split. I think they're split across like 3 different maps. So they've got this sort of Necrotafeo kind of like theme to them, but they're still set on like Eden 6 or Pandora or different places like that. But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're nice. They're a pretty good like manageable like endgame activity you can just jump into. Like if you don't have too much time. Most runs, if you're not really that optimal, you can still probably do a run in about 15 minutes, something like that.
Are they rewarding?
Are
they rewarding? Do you get good rewards?
Yeah, I feel like yes, to a degree. I feel like if you just do a bog standard run, then the chest you open at the end is kind of just like if you open a regular chest. Maybe if you're lucky, you might get something good, but otherwise you're going to be expecting to see like purples and blues and stuff. And then so if you do your average run, you'll be like, it's all right. But then if you start getting some of the good runs, I haven't done like a sub 5 minute run yet, but like, if we did one, we've done it in say sub 10. So you've just, we ticked off like 4 out of 5 objectives, and those ones we got some pretty good ones. We got like some decent anointed weapons. I think we got a legendary on a couple of them. So I'd say given the time investment, it's not that long. They can be a pretty good thing to farm.
Okay.
And also, like most of my ones that I've been doing them because I did a lot of the proving ground stuff pre-level 50, so I was doing sort of like 45-ish, something like that. So we were doing that typically on Mayhem 1. So now that I've got like level 50 like optimized build, I think if I did it on Mayhem 3 and then I got like a good run, then that's where you're going to start getting the really good loot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Mayhem 3 like crazy jacks the loot drops. It is nuts. I mean, like you said, you saw 5 legendaries drop from a boss, right?
Yeah.
I was farming the loot tank, and like every time it was between 3 to 5 legendaries popping out of the backpack. I was like, this is crazy, man. It's so much
That is
loot.
crazy.
I will say though, anointed legendaries are pretty rare. Like you'll see a lot of legendaries, but to see an anointed legendary is like, oh wow, nice. It's anointed. Like it definitely doesn't drop. It's like maybe 1 out of every 10 or 20 legendaries. So, well, no.
Yeah.
It's definitely 1 out of 20 or higher. Because like, I saw quite a few legendaries, and like I think 2 or 3 were anointed for me. For those wondering what is anointed,
nice.
It's essentially like it's like an ancient in Diablo, an ancient legendary. And what it'll do is it'll give you an extra perk that will be associated with your class ability. And some of them will be any class abilities. Others will be specific to an actual class. Like after you phase grasp with Amara, then you get like, say, increased weapon damage. So they can be really good for high-end builds.
Yeah.
And they're worth chasing. But back to the end game loop specifically, you are getting more gear to be more powerful to kill more of those things in the game, which is very similar to Diablo, except there's no greater rift like climbing as of yet. Yeah.
So if you can beat everything on Mayhem 3 all the way through, are you basically done? You're like, oh well, I did it.
Yeah, I mean, you could consider yourself done. I mean, you can consider yourself done if you've done all the stuff on like normal, honestly.
True.
Because you've already seen it. It's like it's more of how interested you are to craft certain builds to feel super powerful in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the desire to be in that sandbox, chucking grenades constantly or applying elementals all the time. Like those things are fun in Borderlands. So if you inherently like that and you want to keep on going, then there's a lot that you can chase after. But if you've already played the campaign, you don't really care about getting better loot to kill some of the stuff again with higher difficulty, then you're good. It's like if you've raided in Destiny, you could technically just do the raid once. You're like, you're good. You did the raid, or you can keep on farming the raid for all the drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I find is weird though, is that there is no, like you hit level 50, here's a raid boss in Borderlands.
Yeah. I was surprised at that. Yeah,
that's been something that they've done in Borderlands 1, 2, and I think they did in the pre-sequel as well. Maybe not in the pre-sequel, but they would have like, you hit max level, now you can go kill Terramorphous, or go attempt to kill Terramorphous. That's not in the game, but every boss almost felt like a raid boss in comparison to Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
So maybe they balanced it.
I can only think that. Yeah, I can only think maybe they're. Because they mentioned the other day, I can't remember all the specifics on it, but they mentioned they sort of like loosely spoke about their initial like roadmap and stuff. So maybe it's one of those things where, because you know how they mentioned already, there's going to be sort of like to a degree some continued updates. So I wonder whether they're trying to do like a staggered thing.
That's what I was thinking.
They're trying to sort of like take the sort of like Destiny sort of seasonal approach thing, where like, they're like, all right, we'll give people a few weeks to hit 50, get to there. Then we'll be like, by the way, guys, you're done. Here's a raid boss. Go fight this, and then maybe they could start tweaking some things like that. That would be, because that would be kind of cool. Because I know, I mean, Borderlands does still have stuff that you can keep playing time and time again. I mean, people have been playing Borderlands 2 for 10 years, right? But the fact that if it does fit within a slightly more modern model, it might be interesting if they do adopt certain elements that kind of allow them to continue to update it in a slightly different way that's more in line with, say, like what we expect from things like Destiny and Division and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if they were like, I mean, imagine if they did it as like a season and then like every like a month there's like a new raid boss. That would be sick.
Well, there is these takedowns coming. The Malawan takedown is coming next month, and we don't specifically know exactly what that's going to entail. It could be one of the raid bosses in there.
Could be, yeah.
Could be a more curated strike with a raid boss at the end type of thing, if you want a Destiny reference from that. And there's also DLCs coming as well. So the first one's coming in December.
Yeah.
That is going to expand the game.
Huh.
So
wonder what new characters will be added.
Yeah, because they always add new characters.
That'll be fun.
That.
Yeah, that'll be super fun.
Yeah. Speaking of new characters, who's your favorite new character in the game?
Mose.
Flack.
Oh, I mean, actually, well, I guess they are characters that you talk that talk.
Oh, you mean
NPC? Favorite NPC? I'll go first.
Yes.
I think Balex is incredible. I love Balex.
Yeah, Balex is great.
Like they got Ice-T, and he's the navigator for a ship. It's classic Borderlands.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I like Kevin. You know Kevin, the little rat that's on your ship that you can't kill.
I didn't know that's his name. It's Kevin.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I mean, I think he's part of a quest because I think you're supposed to freeze him and then you can pick him up. But I haven't currently done the quest, so he's basically a permanent addition, which me and my team have come to the conclusion that he's basically our test dummy on the ship because we can shoot him and you can't kill him. So he's a way to test damage numbers. So we go down to the hold, and he's like this little purple, like Iridian-looking rat who's tiny, and he seems to scale with stuff because like now he's level 50. And I just shoot him to bullets, and I shoot a pile of bullets and bullets into him, like all my cooldowns and everything. And he's like, nope. And he just runs away. So, yeah.
That's funny.
My favorite is, have you guys done the side quest where you meet Terry? The rat.
No. Oh,
I
yes.
don't think so, no.
And he frees his buddy, Gary? Terry and Gary, right? Yes, that was amazing.
Terry and Gary. I love Terry. Terry has a voice that just like, he seems so friendly. He seems approachable. He seems like he's funny. I really enjoyed that side quest. That side quest was really, really, really fun. And I thought that both Terry and Gary were really cool characters. I loved hearing them talk together about being ratchets now.
Yeah. They're like, man,
I really enjoyed that.
I could really go for a human body right now. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dear.
Yeah, that was
I
good
really
stuff.
enjoyed those guys.
Yep.
They were cool.
Well, Borderlands for me has been absolutely amazing. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. The story is what honestly takes some of that down. If I were to rate the story by itself, 6 out of 10 in comparison to previous Borderlands, because Calypso twins are just super annoying. But overall, it's really delivered on expectations, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it expands and goes forward in the universe. And whether or not we're getting too much loot, like that is a question of like, is it too rewarding right now? I don't think so, but we'll see what they do with the loot system. And once there's been a few weeks,
I guess we'll see when DLC comes out, and if we're breezing through everything, we'll be like, maybe we're a bit too strong.
Maybe, yeah. I feel like
it's hard to say right now.
Yeah, I feel like they looked at Diablo and saw how more engaging the game is when you're getting lots of drops. And because Borderlands 2, when it first launched, you did not see those kind of drops. It was like you kill Terramorphous, you'd get a legendary one every 2 or 3 kills, maybe. So like a unique, or a different legendary. So it definitely was not that rewarding. And then they upped the drops a couple of years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is so much better." And it is not as actually. I guess when you're playing on normal mode and you see a couple legendaries throughout your playthrough, like that's how Borderlands 2 is now, and how they like base the base drop rate in. But then you have these Mayhem levels. I mean, they jack those drops up so quick. It's crazy.
I think it's one of those things. I think as you said, because you've got the anointed stuff now, I think you almost like need to have that frequency, because it's the same kind of sort of like trouble they had with Division for a while, because Division used to drop loot at like a slightly better frequency. So when Division 2 launched, it felt quite good because you were getting things at a good pace. But then the problem is because they had so much granularity in their gear. Like, you could have these tiny, minute rolls. You needed gear at that insane frequency to even have a chance at getting that stuff. So when you think about the anointed stuff now, like if you only got like a legendary once every like 100 mobs you kill, and then the chance of getting anointed is nothing, you'd be like, this is actually kind of annoying. I actually like the fact that I've literally got to the point where I'm like, if it isn't legendary, I'm not even picking it up. I'm selling it straight away. And I was literally like, my inventory, my bank are full of nothing but gold. And I'm like, I love this. Like, I literally love this. But it doesn't even annoy me. If I'm fighting a boss and I don't get any legendaries, I do the typical like audible like, oh, no legendaries. And I'm like, oh well, let's go again.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally how deep it is. Like it's nothing more than that. So, and it's funny because in other games you get to the point where, like in Anthem, it was like, oh, you get to the point where it's like, oh, you should just stop giving us the less, the rubbish loot because I'm never going to use it. In Borderlands, I'm like, I don't even care if I'm still seeing greens and blues. Like, I'm never going to use it, but the frequency of legendaries just means I don't care anyway, right? So I personally feel like loot is in a decent place, and I think if ever they needed to change it, what I'd rather they just do, and I guess they probably would at some point because they did it in 2, would be when they introduce something like pearlescent, right? Then they can make those super rare. So then you do genuinely only ever see them once in a while, but then you're like, oh, well, at least I got something to aim for, right?
There's potential of seraph weapons and pearlescent weapons, and seraphs could be what they did in Borderlands 2, where it's DLC type of stuff, or they could add it as a super rare legendary. And again, pearlescents could be on top of that once they hit the final DLC, because typically they add a third playthrough and they raise the level cap as the DLCs come out. They might not. They might not do that though this time around. They might have had a particular vision because they've had a lot of time to plan this game. So I'm sure they were thinking about how they want to evolve the end game as the game matures. So,
definitely.
Well, one final thing though, before we move on to Iceborne, because we definitely need to talk about Iceborne, is that there's been massive performance issues with Borderlands 3 on all platforms. That sucks for sure, but that's usually one of the things of being an early adopter in these games, especially on PC, is that there's almost always performance problems, and some systems are crashing, others are having wild FPS dips and swings and all that stuff, and it sucks. Eventually it's going to get patched, like it might take a week, might take 2 weeks. There was a big memory leak with Destiny 2 for like a month, and then he eventually got patched, and Destiny 2 runs fantastic on PC. So give it time. They'll iron out those bugs. But I wouldn't avoid the game because of those bugs. Yeah.
No, it's not unplayable. There's just some areas that you'll be in where it's like, well, there goes all the frames. It's framey right now. But it doesn't stop my enjoyment of it, especially as it's not like that the entire way through in every single area. It's like very specific times and specific areas that it does that for me.
Yep.
One of them was weird. Like if I pulled out a really big rocket launcher, the game was like, whoa.
Like, goddamn, that's a big one.
Whoa. Yeah.
That's funny.
Frame rate would dip. We pull out the giant rocket launcher.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I can't use that gun because that's hard.
Snipers were.
Or just have it out the entire time. Just have the rocket launcher the entire time. Could work.
I had early stuff like every time I pulled out a sniper, it was like tick, 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 tick the frames. I was like, I can't ADS with the sniper.
The scoping was really bad for me.
Yeah.
Like when I scoped in, it just lagged so badly that with snipers I could only hip fire because it lagged so bad.
I think I just hip fire all the time. I think for the most part,
hip firing is great in this game.
Hip firing is great.
Yeah.
It's the way to go for most things for me.
All right, so Iceborne, we got to talk a bit about it last week, and that was before we hit the guiding lands. And Eric's, you weren't here last week, so you couldn't tell us about your experience with Iceborne.
I was not. So good. I love it. It's great. I'm only slightly biased, but it's brilliant. No, it's been honestly, it's been really cool. I think it's been like Monster Hunter expansions have always historically been like, they're more than just DLC. Like you can always, for all intents and purposes, Monster Hunter expansions are just a brand new game, because in Japan they're typically sold as a brand new game.
Right.
Like, they're used to the format of, exactly. Like 4 comes out, 4 Ultimate comes out, like 3 Ultimate. It's always the way. Like in the West, we inherently, you only typically get like one of them. But so we already knew going to Iceborne before they even said stuff about like, how much there's gonna be. It's gonna be like worthwhile. And we're like, having now played through it, it's honestly been such a great expansion. Like that the value now for Monster Hunter, like the world experience as a whole, like if you have the base game of world and you have Iceborne, it's so insanely good. Like, I mean, there's all the new weapon stuff they did, all the new monsters. The fact that it's got now, I mean, yes, I know some of the monsters are subspecies, and depending on how people have kind of come into Monster Hunter, if you are like someone that's been playing since, say, the earlier games, you realize that subspecies are more than just reskins. But a lot of people that came in world, you know, because I guess they're used to kind of like modern games where it's like, you know, you might play like a Call of Duty and then they reskin a gun. A lot of people seem to see these sort of like subspecies as these reskins. So some people sort of like looked at the roster and was like, well, it's not really 30 new monsters. It's kind of like 15 and then 15 reskins. It's like, it's not quite the same. I mean, I will say I do wish there were like a few more new monsters, because when you really think about it, like you've got Bambaro, Beartodus, Namiel, Final Boss, a few others, and then a lot of them are like returning monsters, which for people that's joining World was great, because if you've never fought as an ogre and T-Rex and Barioth and Naga, they're all new to you.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, okay, they're great monsters. I love fighting them in World. Their new moves have been fantastic. The way they've sort of changed them and adapted them for Iceborne has been brilliant. But it would have been nice if it was sort of like, if of that 30 roster, maybe like 15 of them were like brand new monsters. Now, I know there's a lot of work that goes into that, but that would have been kind of cool. And then I think my only other kind of gripe sort of playing through the base campaign is it's kind of a topic that like everyone's been discussing a lot, but like weapon designs, because Monster Hunter has always been the game where armor and weapons look fantastic, and their armor designs are great. Half the weapon designs are great, but they've still got this thing they introduced in World where like a lot of the weapons are parts slapped onto like a bone or an iron base.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem with that is that some of the weapons they've brought back from previous Monster Hunter games, so you take something like Glavenus, who has some fantastic weapon designs, and take something like iconic, like his greatsword, which is, you know, Glavenus is like, his tail is supposed to be a greatsword.
Yeah, he's the greatsword monster.
Exactly, yeah. In the previous games, his greatsword is like a huge, to a degree, kind of version of his tail. And in this one, it's just like, here's an iron greatsword with a few Glavenus parts slapped on, and you're like, man, that sucks. And then it's also kind of rubs it in a little bit more, because some of the weapons got the right treatment. So take a monster like Brachy, like Brachydius. Half of his weapons are the correct forms from the previous game, and the other half aren't. I'm just like, why did you do half? Did somebody come into work one day and just be like, okay, I'll do the weapons? And they're like, oh, I ran out of time. All right, whatever. Just it's like, that doesn't make sense, man. So that was odd. But yeah, that was cool. And then getting into the final area, like the final boss.
Oh,
so how far have you guys done the final boss, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, the final boss was awesome. Yeah.
Super unexpected.
Very unexpected.
Yeah. That was that. Yeah, when I first fought it, because I saw the icon, I was like, all right. And then this rock monster came in. I was like, doesn't look very final bossy, but I was like, whatever. I'm sure they'll have something else. And then when it broke out, I was like, what the hell? It's like Aang the Airbender.
It's an alien,
with like
man.
flipping spirit bombs.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, but what I'm super happy about now is obviously now we get into endgame, and Guiding Lands is a really, really cool system. So for anyone that doesn't,
cool.
yeah, for anyone that kind of doesn't know what the endgame is, it's kind of to a degree reminiscent of the Everwoods from like 4 Ultimate, but basically Guiding Lands is like a big map where you've got themed areas in the other areas. So you've got like a forest area, a desert area, a coral area, and like a rotten area. They're all merged together in one giant map. You go in there, you've got no time limit. You can die as many times as you want, but there's monsters that spawn. And then as you fight these monsters, then more monsters come in, and you can basically just sit in a Guiding Lands instance for as long as you want. And then while you're there, you level up the area. And as the level of the area gets higher level, stronger monsters come in. And this kind of goes this big this cycle. But the nice thing as well is that the parts you get from the monsters in this area are unique. So you're not just suddenly like, oh, well, it's a Diablos in the Guiding Lands. Why don't I just go and fight a Diablos in a quest? Well, the reason for that is because you get different Diablos parts from the Guiding Lands, which you then use to augment and upgrade your gear, which is really nice because now cool. It actually has a proper path for augmenting and upgrading, right?
Yeah.
Because in World, their sort of end game was like, oh yeah, we've got augmenting. It's like, okay, cool. So I'm going to go and run a few tempered quests, spend some parts, and then level up my gear. Cool. Whereas now it's like, no, you want to max out your Diablos Charge Blade and you want to max out your Diablos gear. You got to go and find Diablos in the Guiding Lands, farm him, and then now that you've upgraded that, you've got to go and fight like a Black Diablos, which might not spawn yet because your Guiding Lands is too low level. So there's this really nice
really
path
cool,
for it, which I think is really cool.
I think it really kind of captures the essence of what being a monster hunter is, because you just go to this one area, you can just hang out for as long as you want, whether with people or solo. It's totally doable solo, just hanging out in there on your own, and you get to just fight monsters continuously until you're bored. And the map is huge. Like each level has like 3 levels to it. It's really amazing. Just being in that area is really cool, and it definitely kind of gives me the feeling of I'm just hunting mons. I'm sitting here hunting mons.
Yep.
And having something to work towards with leveling stuff up. So if you want to get a certain monster spawn, you have to level up a certain area. Is really cool. I like balancing that.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Guiding Lands. I was like, oh, this is Monster Hunter Endgame. People can come in and out. Oh, let's go kill this monster. Oh, this thing just spawned. Like the whole leveling of each area to get different monsters. Like I don't know what level it is to get Elder Dragons to show up, but I'm assuming like max level, essentially, right? To
level like 6+,
6+, and then Elder Dragons will start showing up every now and then. Like I think that is such a cool process. Like that, I was really blown away by that, because that campaign was like 30 hours roughly.
It was quite a long campaign.
Yeah, it's like
really.
It's like a good 20 to 30 hours depending on what you're doing. Depending on how many times you watch the cat animations. It'll be, around there. So they give you a meaty campaign. It's not like a regular just, here's 5 hours of an expansion and some extra bosses or some extra gear and monsters to kill. It's like it is a legit like re-expansion of Monster Hunter World into like it feels like Monster Hunter World 2 with what they did.
Yeah. It does.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's really cool. So Guiding Lands and that whole endgame concept, I'm like, damn, that is awesome. Well done.
And one thing I really like as well is that, and it's something that sort of like previous Monster Hunter games have done again before, and to a degree, World had it to an element where like you complete the campaign and then there's a couple of like hunter rank gates you have to sort of get through, and you get some like notable quests, but there's still, those gates were more just like versions of quests you've done before, like Tempered Basil Grease. Like, all right, okay, well, I fought this guy. But the fact that Guiding Lands has 4 hidden monsters that you have to unlock, and you can, technically speaking, I think if you get to like a high enough master rank, you might unlock the official quest for them. But the fact that you go through Guiding Lands and then you have to get a particular area to level 6, and then once it's level 6, it has a chance of showing up. So there's 4 monsters where like, in previous Monster Hunter games, it would be like, you unlock like Amaterasu when you get to like Hunter rank 100, or you unlock like Fatalis when you get to Hunter rank X, Y, and Z, right? And then, whereas World was kind of like, you've seen it all, so just like grind a little bit more. But now there's, now there are all those different things. Like I'm still in the end game. Like I've fought all those monsters, but I haven't like actually unlocked them in my own personal instance. So I'm there like trying to juggle these different things. Like, all right, I want to go and level up the Rotten Vale because I want to unlock like Brute Tigrex so I can go and farm his gear. But then suddenly like, Wild Spire Waste is going leveling down, and then I'm like, but also I need to go and farm this gear. And there's so many things that I'm trying to do now. And I think also one of the nice things that they've done is the balancing they've done in Iceborne has been really good. Like, for example, just the sheer buff to elemental damage has made a huge difference. Because you think about World, like elemental, endgame sets were basically attack boost 7, weakness exploit 3, critical boost 3, critical eye. It's like if you don't have crit and attack, like who are you? Get out of here, right? Whereas now they've buffed elements to the point where like elemental charge blade, it's just one weapon, but elemental charge blade is like back in business. So now suddenly like your endgame variety, you've got this cool new system where some complete or some like armor sets have the ability to raise certain skills beyond a level. So like Slugger, for example, like KO, I've now got KO level 5, which is nuts. I'm just like knocking monsters out left, right, and center.
That's really cool.
So you've already got this idea to like you pick a skill you like, and there's probably a version where you can then amp that skill up if you go and get that set bonus. So you've got that. Then you've got all the elements that you can like mess around with. So suddenly the end game diversity is like massively spread out. It's no longer like, you need attack boost. It's like attack boost is old news. Yeah, sneak it in if you can get it, but there's so many more things you want to be messing around with. Yeah. And I think that's super important for the game's health.
Elemental bow has been amazing because it's perfect, right? It's any kind of fast hitting weapon is really great at the elemental stuff. And I'm running pure Namiel armor. So it looks really good, so I'm just never taking it off. But it's really cool that it adds like 150 extra elemental damage when it's boosted up. Plus, it unlocks secret element. When you hit the monster like 4 times, you unlock the secret element of the hidden element of your weapon. So you don't even need to run free element stuff because the armor set is giving it to you. So that has just been so fun. And it opens it up massively because I want to make a bow with each element. So I'm always looking at, okay, what's the best fire bow? Okay, well, now I fought this monster and this has question marks. So I guess this might be the best bow, but I don't know. So there's a lot to hunt for going with an elemental build.
Well, also, depending on who you're hunting, they all have variances of elemental weaknesses. So you technically want to have all the elemental builds set up.
Yep.
Because like you could do a raw damage build, but you're not going to be as effective as if you had a 3-star fire build for a monster that's going to be weak to fire that much. That's what's really cool with that rebalancing in game.
Yeah. There's definitely some weapons that still sort of slightly lean into raw and things like that, like the greatsword. But yeah, generally speaking, I think that elemental stuff is super healthy and also introducing. I think one of the things that they did, because one of the struggles that World had was that when they made a shift with the decoration and the charm system. So in previous Monster Hunter games, you used to craft decorations and get charms as drops, and in World you craft charms and get decorations as drops. And while on the surface you might be like, oh well, they just swapped them around, but that in World was a really big problem, because if you in a previous Monster Hunter game, if you didn't have a charm, you could still make 90% of your build. You could buy the decorations, you slot in what you need, you get the armor pieces, and then you're like, all right, if I had a charm, it would be perfect, but without it, it still functions. Whereas in World, by swapping around, if you don't have the decorations, it's a lot harder to spec that build in, because you have the pieces, the armor, you get your charm, but you're like, I can't fill these gaps. So that heavily limited it, because that's basically what forced people a lot of the time to be like, all right, these are the only pieces of armor I'm going to use, because this piece of armor reliably gives me 2 points in weakness exploit. This piece of armor gives me points in attack boost. Because I don't have these gems, I have to use these pieces. So your huge armor variety is whoosh, cut in half, or cut in even less than half. So, and while they haven't fundamentally changed the decoration system, the one thing they have done is by having dual skill decorations, so things that have you can have handicraft and attack or guardian attack. That is kind of a little bit of the charm nature work back into it, because then now you're getting some so many of the master rank armor pieces have got level 4 slots, and people are getting level 4 decorations, and one of the skills might be rubbish, but for me, I sunk 1,000 hours into World and never got an attack gem, but then I played through Iceborne and I've got 4 or 5 attack / something else. So even though I'm all right, I don't need slinger capacity, but hey, it's giving me attack, I'm gonna run with that. So immediately they've broadened this pool, so people are getting this ability to mess around with their sets. So I'm seeing people come up with a lot more exciting and interesting things than they would have been able to do in World. So I think that's been good.
Interesting.
Really cool.
Didn't realize that they had it reversed, where you crafted decorations and then had charms before.
Yeah, because charms used to be a lot more varied in previous games, because it would be a charm would typically drop with slots on it, and it would also drop with a couple of skills. So you might have something attack +4, handicraft +3, 3 slots. So you're charms were pretty meaty in the previous games, whereas now it's very much more this is just going to give you iron wall. This is going to give you attack boost. So they definitely, exactly. So there used to be a pretty big part of it, but because they were so random, it was sort of that used to be the thing. That was endgame in previous Monster Hunter games. It was charm farming was the thing. You go out and you just try and farm for these god tier charms. So I think they've got to a happy balance.
Yeah, it felt like decorations kind of became that as well. Just like I said, you never saw an attack jewel, so it was is it gonna happen? Are you gonna get an attack jewel this time? And obviously not, because it was just the drop rate on that was broken or something.
Yep. So I think overall it was it's definitely in a really good place. I think it'll give people things to do for quite some time.
Yeah, I was blown away by that. Doing the campaign, seeing what they changed, even seeing reskins of monsters, and I always have a tough time of just straight up calling it a reskin, because they're not reskins in my mind. They're they got new move sets. They look different in terms of visuals, new effects, the lightning Anjanath.
Weak to different things. They cause different status effects.
Yeah, lightning Anjanath. I was this feels like a new monster. I know it's an Anjanath, but the actual engagement of the monster felt new to me because of the different move sets and the type of aggro that it was doing, and I felt that was abundant across everything. Even with the fish one, Bayotatus or whatever.
Oh, Bayotatus, yeah. There's one fight that really stands out to me. Like I really wish I recorded my reaction to it live because I was playing with my friend, right? And I was like, it was seeding basil geese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I first fought a seeding basil geese, like I saw him and I was like, hey man, this doesn't look any different. Like he looks the same. He doesn't even look like he's got a different paint job. I'm like, did Capcom run out of money here? It's like a budget card. And for the first 5 minutes of the fight, he behaved basically the same. And I'm like, look, right, you can't put a name on this guy and just pretend he's different. And then he started to glow, and I'm like, oh, he's doing less. He looks a little bit different, but he's still basically the same. And then suddenly he went full on purple, raised up in the sky, dropped these purple bombs down. I was like, what the hell is this? The whole world was exploding, and he went into his supernova form where he just covered the ground in these purple rocks. I was like, there's nowhere for me to run. Explosions are going off. I was like, all right, I'll take everything back. He's very different, and now he's very cool.
Yeah. And then, then he does the actual nuke. Like he becomes the nuke. Yeah. It drops down and destroys the player base. Yeah. That was great. The first time he nuked, I was like, I just happened to be outside, recovering. And I looked over, I was like, oh my God, he dropped down.
You're like, what is he doing?
I actually nuked the arena. I was like, good thing I wasn't in there. And then the second time he did it, I got caught by it and died.
Yeah, a lot of them look really cool. Like Anjanath for the new Anjanath for a long time was my favorite new monster. Just because the way he looks when he gets his wings out it just looks so cool. So good. Shiny, awesome. The attacks that he does are just very overwhelmingly aggressive.
Yeah.
So he was my favorite for a long time, and that's a reskinned monster.
Yeah.
He was really
Yeah. I always cringe when I hear calling things legitimately oh, it's just a reskin. It's like somebody put some thought into what this means for that,
it's kind of annoying as well because to the point you sort of say one of the things that's become everyone's favorite topic to discuss now is hey man, this monster's using Kushala skeleton, or this monster's using X monster's skeleton. It's do you understand game development? Of course they're going to reuse skeletons. Doesn't mean just because it's using the skeleton from a monster does not mean it is in any way the same as that monster. You go and try and build 30 different monsters and remake the skeleton from the ground up.
Right?
You're not going to do it, all right?
It doesn't make any sense. Also, even if you look in nature, in the wild, it doesn't make sense to completely, we all look like humans,
we have the same skeleton. God, Jesus.
Yeah, is it weird that we have the same skeleton? I get that they want to complain about something, but at a certain point, it's well, you want to play video games, right? It's going to take forever to completely rebuild everything from the ground up.
I don't get it either, because it's the monster will look completely different textures, different color, different look. It doesn't look like the same skeleton, and it has completely different movesets. It has completely different armor, completely different weapons. I'm like, what's the problem?
Yeah. It's a weird complaint.
Yeah,
if something was directly copied, then I get it. It's it's an identical copy of everything, moveset, visuals. I get it. There's a reason to call it something you just copied it. But most of the time, there's all these subtleties that people just completely write off and don't even acknowledge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, is it a yay or nay?
It's top. It's my top, probably 2 at this point. Top 2 DLC ever to be in any game.
Yeah. It's honestly one of the best expansions ever.
It's not just the new monster. It's the new area is beautiful. All of the little touches that they do in that game of, the cats have complete sequences of making bread. Why? Because it makes it feel whimsical and magical. It's great. All of the small details.
Is that bread a reskin?
Hey, is that using the same bread skeleton as the last loaf of bread?
Yeah, might be. Oh no.
There was a brilliant video clip today of one of the the little cat people that walk around the world the Grimalkin.
I saw this one.
There's a little you saw it with the leaf thing.
Yeah.
It's there's a for anyone that hasn't seen it, there's basically this person, so you can go around with the camera and you can observe the Grimalkin, and then there's one scene where one of them walks out with a leaf that is using as an umbrella because it's raining, and there's a Grimalkin that goes over who's like not got that. So they walk over to them, expecting them sort of like give them the umbrella, and then some other one turns up and then brings an umbrella, and then Grimalkin like B leaves with that one. So then he looks all lonely. He's like, "Oh, I brought the umbrella for you." And then this other person turns up and taps him on the back. He's like, "It's all right, you can keep me dry." And then puts the umbrella over him, and then they both live happily. I'm really bad at storytelling. You should watch the video. It does a much better job than me. Basically it's
there
a
was
really,
a
really
cat
hot
trying to
woman.
get a girl, and then it was like, "Oh, I can keep you sheltered," and then the girl went off with some other cat. Weird. And then this other cat comes out with this lone cat, and then they're under the leaf, and then they're happy. There was a bad one that I also saw though, which was someone observing one of the cats. I call them cats just because it's easier for people to actually visualize what they are. And they were on a leaf boat in Rottenvale, and they got eaten by a fish.
It was like
no way, I haven't seen that
they
one.
Like took a few pictures, like, "Oh, the cat's fishing. This is great." Then all of a sudden, boom, eaten by a giant fish, and it was like,
oh no.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely Iceborne is definitely a yay. It's for me, it is so far my game of the year so far, definitely.
Yeah, Iceborne is
I mean, really I know I'm a little bit biased, but
Iceborne has redefined expansions, honestly.
It's
incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And the crazy thing as well, like Iceborne is an expansion, and they're also then going to do what they did with World, so you'll get a year's free content. So they've already got a roadmap out, so there'll be Rajang is dropping next month, so we're getting another monster. They've announced on the roadmap there's another monster coming, so we're still gonna. You think about the World support, which added like I think what is it? 4 months. It was Devil Joe, Lunastra, Kulftiroth, Behemoth, and Leshen. So
and
probably got another 5. Yeah, exactly right. So we probably got 5 monsters at least, maybe for like Iceborne. So it's not even over. Like
it's just beginning.
And the rest of it, like you don't even have to. And the rest of it, you don't have to pay. Like you got Iceborne, just sit back and enjoy the ride for the next year.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, also Iceborne's $40 too. So if you're looking for a really
$40,
yeah, if you want more Monster Hunter World, if you enjoyed that, you put like 100 hours, maybe more into the game. You can put easily another 100. Like if you really play the game, you got thousands of hours of content on there.
Yeah.
To craft everything, and it's good stuff. Definitely yay.
Because you even have to hit certain MRs to get the other monsters right at the end game.
Yeah.
So got some grinding to do to get the certain Rathalos.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Awesome. Is that the show?
It's gonna be good. I think it is.
I think
that's
so.
That's the side quest.
Side quest complete.
Bam. There it is.
Side quest complete.
All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. There will be more discussions next week of video games and things happening. Also, shout out to our Patreons for making the show a possibility for us. And thanks for everybody chilling in the live viewing, or if you listen in on Podbean or Spotify or YouTube and all those various places. So thank you very much, guys. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft, where I'll be playing. I'll most likely be focusing on Borderlands for the next week or so. Because,
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. I will be playing Borderlands. I will also be throwing in Monster Hunter because I need to level up to get all the monsters in my area. And I'm going to be playing Code Vein on the 27th as well. So exciting times ahead.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter, twitter.com/Arix, or YouTube, Arix Gaming. Twitter, and YouTube right now is full of Monster Hunter and Borderlands goodness. Maybe a little bit of Link's Awakening towards the end of the week if I can sneak it in before I'm away. But yeah, should be good.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye.